Hello, welcome back. This long time ago, I have read about aircrafts or airports. It's a little bit hot day today, like 30 degrees. I have to close my windows. I try to put my stamps collection away. Been there like 4 months, so I have to put it away in this box. And I have started to play airline sim game, this web browser game, airline sim. So I'd like to get back to read about my aircraft, airports and deserts. But I was just to finish reading about the Roman Empire. So I did not finish yet. Read one more too. But I don't like this camcorder takes 24 hours of charging. No, I should read this Byzantine Empire. I need to read, but there's 63 pages. So let's read this Boeing. So I will make a video about it in Danish and English later.
Boeing 757. Featured article. Boeing 757, a mostly white Boeing 757 with blue and yellow trim preparing for landing against a blue sky. Landing gear and flaps are fully extended in final approach configuration. Iceland Air Boeing 757-200 on final approach rolling narrow-body jet airliner national origin United States manufacturer Boeing commercial airplanes first flight February 19, 1982 introduction January 1, 1983 with Eastern Airlines status in service primary users Delta Airlines FedEx Express United Airlines UPS Airlines Produced 1981-2004 number built 1,050. 1. Variants Boeing C-32. The Boeing 757 is an American narrow-body airliner designed and built by Boeing Commercial Airplanes. The then-named 7N7, a twin-jet successor for the 727, a tri-jet, received its first orders in August 1978. The prototype completed its maiden flight on the 19th of February 1982 and it was FAA certified on December 21, 1982. Eastern Airlines placed the original 757-200 in commercial service on January 1, 1983. A package freighter, PF, variant entered service in September 1987 and a Co-V model in September 1988. The stretched 757-300 was launched in September 1996 and began service in March 1999. After 1,050 had been built for 54 customers, production ended in October 2004, while Boeing covered the largest 737 variants as a successor. The jetliner is powered by 36,643,500 lbf, 163-193 kN. Rolls-Royce RB211 or Pratt & Whitney PW2000 underwing turbofan engines for 255,273,000 pound, 116-124 t. The 757 has a 2,000 square feet, 185 square meters, supercritical wing for reduced aerodynamic drag and a conventional tail. It keeps the 707 fuselage width and 6 abreast seating, and its 2 crew glass cockpit has a common type rating with the concurrently designed 767, a wide-body aircraft. It was produced in 2 fuselage lengths. The 155 feet, 47.3 m, long 757 to 200, the most popular with 913 built, typically seats 200 passengers in 2 classes over 3,915 nautical mile, mi, 7,250 kilometers, 4,505 mi, while the 178 feet, 54.4 m, long 757-300 typically seats 243 over 3,400 mi, 6,295 kilometers, 3,900 mi. The 757-200F can haul a 72,210 pound, 32,755 kilograms, payload over 2,935 mi, 5,435 kilometer, 3,378 mi. Passenger 757-200S have been modified for cargo use as the Special Freighter, SF, and the Precision Converted Freighter, PCF. Major customers for the 757 included U.S. mainline carriers, European charter airlines, and cargo companies. It was commonly used for short and mid-range domestic routes, shuttle services, and transcontinental U.S. flights. ETOP's extended flights were approved in 1986 to fly intercontinental routes. Private and government operators have customized the 757 as VIP carriers such as the US C-32. In July 2017, there were 665 Boeing 757 in commercial service, with Delta Airlines being the largest operator with 127 airplanes in its fleet. 2. The airliner has recorded 12 hull loss accidents, including 8 fatal crashes, as of April 2022. 3. Development. Background. In the early 1970s, following the launch of the first wide-body airliner, the 747, Boeing began considering further developments of its narrow-body 727.4, designed for short and medium-length routes. 5. The Tri-J was the best-selling jetliner of the 1960s and a mainstay of the U.S. domestic airline market. 4. 6. Studies focused on improving the 189-seat 727-200, the most successful variant. 7. 2 approaches were considered, a stretched 727, to be designated 727-300, and an all-aircraft code, named 7N7.7. The former was a cheaper derivative using the 727's existing technology and tail-mounted engine configuration. 7. While the latter was a twin-engine aircraft which made use of new materials and improvements to propulsion technology which had become available in the civil aerospace industry. 8. Side view of silver twin-engine jet taxiing on runway, with deployed flaps and 757 markings on tail. The 7N7 made its Farnborough Airshow debut in 1982 as the 757-200. United Airlines provided input for the proposed 727-300, which Boeing was poised to launch in late 1975. 7. But lost interest after examining development studies for the 7N7.7. Although the 727-300 was offered to Braniff International Airways and other carriers, customer interest remained insufficient for further development. 4. Instead, airlines were drawn to the high bypass ratio turbofan engines, new flight deck technologies, lower weight, improved aerodynamics, and reduced operating cost promised by the 7N7.7. 8. These features were also included in a parallel development effort for a new mid-size wide-body airliner, codenamed 7X7, which became the 767.9. Work on both proposals accelerated as a result of the airline industry upturn in the late 1970s. 4.10. By 1978, development studies focused on two variants, a 7N7-100 with seating for 160, and a 7N7-200 with room for over 180 seats. 8. New features included a redesigned wing, underwing engines, and lighter materials, while the forward fuselage cockpit layout and T-tail configuration were retained from the 727.11. Boeing planned for the aircraft to offer the lowest fuel burn per passenger kilometer of any narrow-body airliner. 12. On the 31st of August 1978, Eastern Airlines and British Airways became the first carriers to publicly commit to the 7N7 when they announced launch orders totaling 40 aircraft for the 7N7-200 version. 8. 12. These orders were signed in March 1979, when Boeing officially designated the aircraft as the 757.8. The shorter 757-100 did not receive any orders and was dropped. 737S later fulfilled its envisioned role. 13. Design effort. The 757 was intended to be more capable and more efficient than the preceding 727.14. The focus on fuel efficiency reflected airline concerns over operating costs, which had grown amid rising oil prices during the Yom Kippur War of 1973. 8. 15. Design targets included a 20% reduction in fuel consumption from new engines, plus 10% from aerodynamics improvements, versus preceding aircraft. 15. Lighter materials and new wings were also expected to improve efficiency. 8. The maximum take-off weight, MTO, was set at 220,000 pounds, 99,800 kilograms, 16, which was 10,000 pounds, 4,540 kilograms, more than the 727.17. The 757's higher thrust-to-weight ratio allowed it to take off from short runways and serve airports in hot and dry conditions with higher ambient temperatures and thinner air, offering better takeoff performance than that offered by competing aircraft. Competitors needed longer takeoff runs for these hot and high conditions. Boeing also offered options for higher payload capability. 16. 18. Forward view of aircraft, showing fuselage profile, 2 circular engines. Forward view of a Transavia Airlines 757-200, showing fuselage profile wing dihedral, and RB211 engines. The twin-engine configuration was chosen for greater fuel efficiency versus 3 and 4 engine designs. 19. Launch customers Eastern Airlines and British Airways selected RB211-535C turbofan built by Rolls-Royce, which was capable of 37,400 pounds force, 166 kN, of thrust. 20. This marked the first time that a Boeing airliner was launched with engines produced outside the U.S. 8. Domestic manufacturer Pratt & Whitney subsequently offered the 38,200 pounds force, 170 kN, thrust PW2037, 20, which Delta Airlines launched with an order for 60 aircraft in November 1980. 8. 21. General Electric also offered its CF6-32 engine early in the program, but eventually abandoned its involvement due to insufficient demand. 22. As development progressed, the 757 increasingly departed from its 727 origins and adopted elements from the 767, 8, which was several months ahead in development. 23. Torjuice risk and cost. Boeing combined design work on both twin jets. 4. 19. Resulting in shared features such as interior fittings and handling characteristics. 24. Computer-aided design, first applied on the 767, was used for over one-third of the 757's design drawings. 25. In early 1979, a common two-crew member glass cockpit was adopted for the two aircraft, including shared instrumentation, avionics, and flight management systems. 24. In October 1979, the nose was widened and dropped to reduce aerodynamic noise by 6 dB, to improve the flight deck view and to give more working area for the crew for greater commonality with the 767. 26. Cathode ray tube, CRT, color displays replaced conventional electromechanical instruments. 24. With increased automation eliminating the flight engineer position common to three-person cockpits. 24. After completing a short conversion course, pilots rated on the 757 could be qualified to fly the 767 and vice versa, owing to their design similarities. 24. Side view of twin-engine jet on tarmac, with attached air stairs and support vehicle, along with a tri-J aircraft in the background. Predecessor and successor, an Air Atlantis 727-200 and an Air Europe 757-200, a new aft-loaded shape which produced lift across most of the upper wing surface, instead of a narrow band as in previous airfoil designs, was used for the 757's wings. 8. The more efficient wings had less drag and greater fuel capacity. 8. And were similar in configuration to those on the 767. 25. A wider wingspan than the 727's produced less lift-induced drag, while larger wing roots increased undercarriage storage space and provided room for future stretched versions of the aircraft. 25. One of the last 727 vestiges, the T-tail, was dropped in mid-1979 in favor of a conventional tail. 8. This avoided the risk of an aerodynamic condition known as a deep stall, and allowed for more passengers to be carried in a less tapered rear fuselage. 27. At 155.3 feet, 47.3 m, in length. 28. The 757-200 was 2.1 feet, 0.640 m, longer than the 727-200, and with a greater proportion of its internal volume devoted to cabin space. Seating ways available for 239 passengers, or 50 more than its predecessor. 17. 29. The fuselage cross-section, whose upper lobe was common to the 707 and 737. 30. 31. Was the only major structural feature to be retained from 727. 32. This was mainly to reduce drag. 15. And while a wider fuselage had been considered, Boeing's market research found low cargo capacity needs and reduced passenger preference for wide-body aircraft on short-haul routes. 11. 19. Production and testing. Boeing built a final assembly line in Washington at its Renton factory. 33. Home of 707, 727, and 737 production, to produce F757. 34. Early in the development program, Boeing, British Airways, and Rolls-Royce unsuccessfully lobbied the British aircraft industry to manufacture 757 wings. 12. 35. Ultimately, about half of the aircraft's components, including the wing's nose section and empennage, were produced in-house at Boeing facilities, with the remainder subcontracted to primarily U.S. based companies. 36. Fairchild Aircraft made the leading-edge slats, Grumman supplied the flaps, and Rockwell International produced the main fuselage. 36. production ramp-up for the new narrow-body airliner coincided with the winding down of 727 program, 36, and final assembly of the first aircraft began in